What's up guys, my name is Alex from Uprising Network TV and I'm here with a brand new video. Now this time around, as promised, I will be doing a follow-up to my original Blue Yeti Part 1 video in which I described how to set up basically a sort of a physical setup and settings and placement of your microphone, different things to address beforehand before you start recording. And this time around, as I promised in that video, I'll be focusing on the editing software and post-production in terms of how to record and get the best quality possible from your microphone. And this doesn't only apply to my Blue Yeti and you know any kind of Blue placement product. I'm not being sponsored in any way. Rather, this is sort of just a generalized information that you can apply to your own hardware, no matter what it is. Anyways, in terms of this video, we'll be getting right started ahead, and for the software, I'll be using Audacity. Although there is an assortment of different software, you can use Adobe's own, Adobe Audition, I believe that's what it's called. And I don't really have much experience with that. I've only seen it used a couple times, and I haven't had my fair share of experience with that one. I sometimes use Sony Vegas to record. However, I find that Audacity is a little bit easier. It's very robust, free to use software actually, and I would highly recommend it to beginners and also veterans alike. So when you open up Audacity, you're gonna get this fresh page here. And before you go record anything, I think there's some stuff that you will really want to pay attention to and address beforehand. Now, for the project rate, you might want to switch that to whichever your microphone records to, the highest it possibly can do. That doesn't mean you oversample it and go the maximum setting here, because you'll just be recording at a higher bitrate even though it can't handle it, and you're just sort of just unnecessarily recording. And you don't want to go under. Usually you don't want to go under 44,100 hertz. The quality starts to deteriorate quite noticeably afterwards. However, for the Blue Yeti, it records at 48,000, so I set it like that. And you can also go into your edit preferences or hit Control P, and this is where you can get a lot of your settings. If you want to know your keyboard bindings and get to streamline your audio production a little bit faster, this is the place to go. Some general keybinds, and that's something important. Import and export, depending on where you want to go to, you can set that up. Majority for beginner users, I wouldn't mess with it. Go into sampling, make sure that the default sample rate, to just make it a little bit easier on yourself, is set to your microphone's default sample rate. And 32-bit float is fine. I believe high quality for all of this stuff is really good. I will switch best quality for high quality conversion afterwards. For real-time conversion, this is fine. And go into recording. Want overdub, want recording over the new one, that's fine. And for devices, this is where you want to set up your own stuff. Your host, that should usually just be set perfectly fine with no kind of adjustments needed. Your playback, if you have headphones or speakers, you want to switch it to this whichever one you're using at the time, and you can listen to yourself playback as well. You can also set it so that while you're recording you can actually hear yourself, so you don't have the problem with not getting the exact volume correct. So a lot of people who wear headphones that are close to your headphones when they're recording, sometimes they can find themselves yelling at times, and it gets sort of unnecessarily loud. In post-production, it can get distorted. To prevent that, listen to your own playback. Know approximately what kind of volume you should be speaking at. For recording, of course, set it to your microphone. For me, it's my Blue Yeti stereo microphone. I put it on to stereo, although mono actually is fine for the majority of my podcasts. It doesn't really matter. Now, after that is all set to go, you get yourself sort of familiar with this. You got your pause, play, stop, fast forward, and then of course the rewind, and rewind and also record. And you're going to set up, and as sort of a demonstration for a clip to use, I'll be recording a short sort of introduction to most of my videos. However, watch for the first 8 to 9 seconds where I'll be recording sort of just room noise. and this will be later on used for the removal of room noise. So let's get this started. What's up guys, my name is Alex from Uprising Network TV, and I'm here with a brand new video. This week we'll be talking about music and audio recording. Now, as you can see here, even though I wasn't talking, you can see these minor, these smaller lines, and the distortion that is actually within these lines. And this is still the room noise. So when I'm talking, and even just the echoing of maybe my clock that's positioned slightly nearby but not that close, the fans from my computer on the side, as well as the heating system in my house, and any small minor footsteps or even noises from outside may be resonating inside as well. So to reduce that, we actually select this pause here. We just drag our mouse over here, highlighting the first section before I begin talking. And we use the effect here, go into effects up on top, and we proceed to go to noise removal. And now we're going to get the noise profile. So this is why we leave a 9-second sort of space to get our noise profile. And then we proceed to double click on the entire thing, so we highlight everything. Go into effect, go into noise removal. Now, depending on how loud the noise is, it really depends on what you should do with it. In this case, I think 12 maybe decibels, reduction will be perfectly fine, because I do speak quite loudly. I'm pretty close to the microphone, so there's no problem in that. And frequency smoothing default set to 200 Hz is fine. Attack and decay time is fine. Sensitivity, that's fine. And set this, remember, to remove, not isolate. If you want to preview a whole clip and how it would sound, you can do it, but the preview will actually just play the first section of it, so you'll always just hear, room noise being removed, and so it's going to be like silence. I'm going to hit OK, and there you see the line is much straighter. If you play this, you don't hear a lot. It's very quiet. You get most of the room noise, a little bit of bumps here and there, but it's significantly improved. And if you actually play this, and now you get a really nice recording overall of the sound without any kind of hissing or static in the background. Now, again, you want to make sure, again, as you can see, when you do pause it, you actually can't do anything with effects. I mean, it's when you don't highlight everything and pause it. So usually you want to just hit stop, make sure everything's ready to go, double click the whole track, highlight it, go into effect. And now, depending on your audio and what kind of volume you're recording at, you can hear, actually, in terms of room noise, you can actually hear room noise right now in my background as sort of my entire house heating system kicks on and sort of just gets a noise. Anyways, I digress. Going back to it, we can go to amplify, and depending on how loud my voice is, you can actually reduce it accordingly. So in this one, I actually speak quite loudly, and playback is a little bit loud. So I could reduce it, maybe go to -1.8, whatever, depending on whatever one I think is best. However, I can also do it quite easily in Sony Vegas, which I use for most of my editing, with the tab here in terms of volume. Anyways, going back to it, we're not going to mess with the amplify this time around, but bass and treble is something we can deal with. Now, majority of people, you'll realize that, online, you don't really like hearing that squeaky voice, and it's not everybody has a squeaky voice or a high-pitched voice, but just a well-rounded sort of smoothing it out in post-production is quite helpful. So in terms of bass, you don't want to make it so bassy that it feels sort of unnecessarily deep and distorted. But you want to add a certain warmness to it. If you listen to, let's say, if you use the amplifier, a vacuum tube amplifier, it makes everything sound very warm, especially in mid-tones and everything. So you want to reduce the treble if you have a rather higher voice and you want to sound a little bit, less piercing at times, for lack of a better term. For me, I think mine's alright. I usually don't edit my voice. I think it's perfectly fine in terms of this. Although that's if you give it a try, if you listen to the voice from here, and if we go into effect and we do use bass treble, and I think the bass is fine, 4.0, treble reduction is not really needed, but let's give it a try, see how it sounds. As you can see, it's as you can hear actually, it's not a huge change. It's just sort of a slightly bassier noise, and you don't hear as high pitched any kind of sounds in the background as well. And the low, but remember, the reason why we remove noise is because the low rumbling bass noises of all these ambient noises get in the way. But when we do increase the bass, it also increases the room noise. That's why you want to make you know, countermeasures to prevent any kind of room noise from affecting your recording. So when you do boost the bass, it's not as bad. And overall, that is basically my general use of the sort of recording software, Audacity. If there's any problem, you want to pause it. You want to stop it right there. Go into effect. If you have any kind of other things that you think are needed for repair, you could use this to repair parts of your recording. And also, if you want, you can also look at the leveler, and you can change the different kinds of leveling, and it's quite useful, but I don't use it on as general. If you set it up correctly, there's no real purpose to do so. And to save it, all you have to go into is export. First of all, if you want to save the project file for future editing, you can. But if you want to just record and show the export file, you can go to export. I already have a file here for most of my recordings here. And wave, it's just sort of this clean original file, so it's pretty good. The file will be slightly big if you use the WAV format. If you're using Mac, you can always use other formats, but you know, this is my preferred method. And you can just say, let's say test, and we can save that. And artist name, if this is a song, you can always add this stuff, but it's not needed in this case. So we just hit OK, and there you have it. So if you guys have any questions in terms of audio recording, please just leave your questions down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this or disliked it, give us a rating so we can know what to improve on in the future. If you have suggestions for future video topics, we're always looking out for it. And I guess I'll see you guys next time around. And remember to check out our Facebook and Twitter if you want to keep updated with what we're doing. Thanks, and I'll see you guys later.